Alrighty, y'all. Would you like for me to go on mute, Lucky?
Yeah, because I'm still gonna do what I was doing.
Okay. I'm muting. I don't know if you can.
All right, I can.
So we've got two strong tornadoes ongoing right now. This is one that has been ongoing out here south of our radar site for quite some time and was actually unwarned for a very long time out here. If I go back into radar data really quick, you can see it was actually unwarned for quite the amount of time, and then it actually had a very large CC drop. And I happened to open my radar site right when it went warned, so that's why I was able to see it. And we also have another unwarned strong tornado out here. So we've actually had two unwarned strong tornadoes on the ground for quite a bit out here near the KPOE radar site. And I just want to hop on here and alert you guys of that. So just bear with me for just a moment whilst I get this stuff up and running. Once I start an urgent live stream like this, there's a few little things I have to get ready. But just make sure you're in your safe spot. We've got two observed tornado warnings, which means that there is actually two confirmed tornadoes on the ground. So there is two tornadoes. You can see one here. That's near Gardner in Louisiana. And then the other one is starting to weaken out here just to the southwest of Hineston in Louisiana. So make sure you are in your safe spot. If you're in either of those blue polygons, on this channel at least, blue polygons mean that tornadoes have been observed in that area. So make sure you are seeking shelter immediately. Give me just a moment. You guys might hear... Okay, there we go. And I'm going to quickly type this out as well. So again, we've got two tornadoes ongoing. Gracious day, that's a massive debris signature. Two tornadoes ongoing still. I do believe they are on a more of a weakening trend here. But just make sure that you are in your safe spot if you're in either one of these tornado warned areas. I just realized I don't even have my chat up. So let me go pull that up so I can see chat here. There we go. So there's debris ball. There's our first debris ball. That's the one that wanted me to go live here. A little surprised I didn't pull the PDS trigger right off the bat with this one, because it actually had a very large debris signature right when they ended up warning it. It was a very, very large tornado, so I'm quite a bit surprised that they didn't just pull that trigger right off the bat and issue a PDS warning. So make sure you are in your safe spot if you are in either one of these tornado warned areas. This one actually includes the very populated city of Alexandria in central Louisiana. And you can see before this we had literally nothing. We had literally no warnings, no severe warnings, no tornado warnings, and then we just had this storm right here. And it had a very deep debris signature, so I really hope... Okay, it looks like this was mainly trees. Yeah, you could see that it got that very large debris signature over mainly wooded areas here. I see some houses back in this area, but when it really strengthened, it seems like it was mainly over trees. And whatever that is, hopefully there's no houses. That doesn't look like there's any houses there. And if we pull this forward to the current radar site, you could still see a radar scan, rather. You could still see that hook echo right in here. Rest of your Supercell up on the northern side of your screen. And your inflows wrapping around right in here with your debris signature right there. And that is beginning to weaken and lift now, thankfully. This one is actually still on the ground out here, possibly even strengthened some. Northwest of Gardner in Louisiana. You can see that debris signature right there in the blue. which blue on GR2 means that it's picking up a lot of debris. So, for instance, this could be very large tree limbs, 2x4s, maybe even sidings of homes, shingles, a large quantity of those smaller items. Could be being picked up with that blue debris signature there. Most likely, a good chunk of that's going to be tree limbs and sticks and stuff because we are in a relatively low populated area. Actually, this one, unfortunately, probably did impact some homes out here. Yeah, that most likely impacted some homes. Hopefully, it went over the wooded area just near to the south there. But I'm sure that barely clipped some houses there northwest of Gardner. And not a very long lead time on that. They probably had a 2-minute lead time, maybe at best for that one. Still an observed tornado warning continuing for Broyce, I believe you say that. And Alexandria is now outside of that because that supercell is starting to occlude its area of rotation. So we're going to continue to watch that as it moves up to the now really dead north. This could very quickly recycle, so don't let your guard down if you're up here in Hindstone, Woodworth, Louisiana. Make sure you are still seeking shelter, as that could very, very quickly recycle. So please be in your safe spot if you're in either one of these tornado warnings. Just checking this really quick. Okay. So we're going to watch and wait here for the next scan to come in. Let me bring Radar Omega over here. That's what I was looking at with my other monitor. And yeah, you can see very broad, but look at that. Look at that massive inflow. Look at that ginormous inflow into this supercell. Huge, huge inflow. And then you can see all this outbound wind speeds going into it as well. That is very easily how you get a strong tornado. And that's what happens. I mean, look at that. Look at all that inflow. If we go back a couple frames, you have all that inflow to its south. All of this inflow here feeding into that storm. And you have those very small but very strong outbound wind speeds. And when those two meet together, you get a strong tornado. Is that still observed? It indeed is. So we're still at an observed warning here. And when this occludes up here, we might have to be keeping an eye out on the southern side of that velocity signature for a new area of rotation to develop. This one still may be on the ground going over quad rate, which is northwest of Alexandria, Louisiana right now. I believe that is still ongoing despite the lower velocity signature. This one has definitely lifted and is attempting to recycle. This one, I believe, is still on the ground heading up towards Boyce, if I'm saying that right, in Louisiana. Northwest of Alexandria, Louisiana. So please be in your safe spot there. We've got 2 confirmed warnings. If you're just now tuning in, this is urgent coverage because we had 2 strong tornadoes on the ground at the same time, both of which were actually unwarned. So I didn't know about them until they were warned, and that's when I decided to start up our live stream here. Looks like the majority of both of their life cycles was full of just tree damage, especially the southern storm. Definitely had a lot of mainly tree damage with it. That northern storm, though, could have impacted some homes here northwest of Gardner, Louisiana. Like I said, this could very rapidly increase in rotation here. You've got this ginormous inflow here. Absolutely massive inflow. Huge inflow into this storm here. Not really that clean of inflow, though. It's not really clean inflow down here. You can see all this precipitation in that inflow notch area. So that might be what inhibits it from reproducing a tornado. If we go back here to this frame here, you can actually very easily depict that large area of inflow when this was producing a strong tornado. Unwarned south of the KPOE radar site. go ahead and pull this forward here more. All right, it does look like both of these are weakening, potentially lifting now. Let me go over here. Still an observed warning in place for Hindstone, Melder, Woodworth in Louisiana. That includes almost 6,000 people inside that observed tornado warning. So make sure you are seeking shelter if you're in those warned areas. I didn't actually get a chance to look at the NAM 3K for Wednesday, so I'm going to just take a peek at that. Or did I say Wednesday? I meant Saturday. Yeah, Saturday is actively downtrending. At least for the moment. So we're going to continue to watch those two areas of rotation. This one was more of a QLCS type spin up. You can see how that inflow very quickly wrapped around the northern edge of your outbound winds here, and that produced just like literally a couple pixels, like 4 pixels of rotation here, which is more common with QLCS tornadoes. That's tornadoes embedded inside a line of severe storms, and just those few pixels of rotation, you can see here. I mean, almost immediately went from just a few pixels of rotation to a large tornado on the ground within 4 minutes. And then you can see we had that big debris signature, reflectivity debris signature there. And then it continued, still unwarned, and then finally got warned as it was approaching Gardner in Louisiana. And this is our current radar scan. You can see both of the storms have fallen apart. This area of rotation near Broyce, rather, has actually fallen apart here. Or Boyce, actually. And then this inflow is still very much there. So as long as we keep that large inflow, this storm could recycle. And look at that. The newest velocity scan is attempting at doing that. So very quickly could reform into a tornado. So that southern storm's definitely going to be the one to watch in terms of a tornado in the very, very short term. The northern one should die off here as it gets absolutely slammed by a bunch of cell mergers and should just turn into a lot of rain. That's really it. So the southern one is going to be the one that ends up potentially producing another tornado. Audio sounds weird. I'll go check it myself. It might be on your end only. Yeah, it's just on your end, dude. Perfectly fine here. So that's going to be our little area of rotation right there. Very small region of rotation that we're going to watch here south of Hindstone. I believe this is still both observed. Yep, they are still both observed tornado warnings. So still want to be in your safe spot. It may not be successful. I don't know. It's had a lot of cell mergers, and it's also got a massive inflow, so I could definitely see the southern storm producing a tornado very soon. I could definitely see it producing another tornado. Wait for that new scan to come in. 10 seconds. And we'll see. We'll see what it shows. Oh, maybe we're a little bit late on that scan. We are a little bit late, a little behind on that scan. Oh, SPC just did something. MCD concerning the new tornado watch for Louisiana. So after we ended our live stream, they issued that new tornado watch we were talking about. Probability was 50-30, so definitely a lot lower than what our watch probs were earlier today. Ooh. Yeah, if that inflow gets any tighter, this is definitely going to be able to drop a big tornado. You can see that inflow is trying to wrap into that area of rotation right now. And if that happens, we're going to see another big tornado here going right over Elmer, Louisiana, going up towards Woodworth, Louisiana as well. And this is on track to go towards southern or maybe just south of Alexandria. So if you do live in Alexandria, this storm is definitely worth staying up for another hour and a half or so if you're planning on going to sleep early. Definitely want to stay up and watch it. Let's see here. Yeah, the National Weather Service, or I should say the Storm Prediction Center, said that this risk will diminish slowly as these storms are going to run out of instability. They're still in high shear, which is what's allowed for this to happen. But they're going to be running out of instability. Their food's going to run out. And that's what's happening to that storm in Boyce right now. This storm to its south is starting to take up all of its energy, and the storm to the north is being choked out. And we do have a heckload of cell mergers to the south. I mean, gracious day, look at all these. It's a whole entire parade of cell mergers to its south right now. Look at all those. So hopefully that parade of cell mergers end up cutting out the inflow and killing the storm as opposed to fueling it with more updrafts. Either one could happen. It's kind of 50-50. There's a small chance that's a signature right there, but it could easily just be the other tornado lifting and the fallout still occurring from it. Oh yeah, this storm produced the most impressive signature of the day. There's your good old your good old December tornado. Thankfully, this one was a tree, just a big old tree ripper. Hopefully, that's all it was a tree ripper. So hopefully everyone was in their safe spot, and hopefully it stayed over mainly forested areas. Alright, that inflow did indeed cut off there. So that's a really, really good sign. So we're keeping an eye on this green signature there, and we're seeing if that green signature can wrap into that red. And if that happens, then we will most likely see a tornado occur. But so long as that green stays further from the red, this storm's going to end up dying out. And you can see how ginormous this thing is. Look at this. Here comes a new tornado warning. Giant supercell. You have your forward flanking line of convection that goes this way, too. That new warning is going to be... Oh, observed. Damaging tornado. Or rather, a tornado-producing storm over Heinston. And, of course, a damaging tornado. Northeast at 25 miles per hour. Heinston. So, was that a tiny debris signature we saw? Let's go back. I can't really tell. It's all a debris mess. It's a big CC mess. But that is an observed tornado warning now. Heading towards Alexandria. These cell mergers are pushing it more north. These cell mergers from the south, they're moving north like this. And so they're overall pushing the storm more like that. As opposed to dead east. Or, even more east than that. So that's why your tornado warning, you can see the orientation, how it changed from northeast to directly northeast. Yeah, it was most likely fallout, but they did choose to continue that confirmed tornado warning just in case. That confirmed tornado warning includes 30,817 people, 11 schools, and 1 hospital. So make sure you're in your safe spot. Let me check this really fast. All right, we are down to one confirmed tornado warning now. It's just for this storm that did produce a strong tornado briefly over mainly wooded areas. That was well to the southwest of Heinston. So if this does continue, you can see the core of the supercellular hook echo, and you can follow it. Follow where that hook echo goes, and you can see here on the last few frames, it looks like it's moving more up into the supercell. So you're starting that occlusion process. So basically now, instead of a classic hook, our hook echo is looking more like this, and it's more rain wrapped in here. And then you got your forward flanking line of convection, and then of course the rest of your supercell. So that's probably because the winds are changing direction in this area, and that's allowing for rain to obviously wrap around that area of rotation. But that's also occluding the area of rotation as well. Basically where the supercell itself, your hook echo, rises up into the base of your supercell, and that cuts off the inflow, and basically the supercell destroys itself. It's the occlusion process, which we see that happen with every single supercell. Some is more obvious than others. Me either, Ben. I mean, this is just one day after Christmas, possibly the worst time of the year to have a tornado outbreak. Thankfully, it wasn't too potent, but I mean, that's pretty bad. That's 5 strong tornadoes today. That was definitely a tornado outbreak. I think I'm very much confident enough to call this a tornado outbreak. And not to mention the couple of unwarned tornadoes we had today, which happened earlier on. Actually, they technically did get warned. I think all of them got warned. So I don't think we actually had any unwarned ones. There was a few questionable ones, but no obvious ones. Well, look at that little CC right there. I don't think that's any debris signature. But see, little stuff like that, actually. It's just a tiny little couplet, but that is a very persistent CC drop from earlier today. You see, it's going to be little stuff like that that could have easily been an unwarned tornado, and that's what's going to make today an outbreak. But yeah, this expires in 7 minutes, so as long as it continues to look like that, we probably won't stay here much longer. These urgent live streams typically last 30 minutes to an hour. As long as we see that inflow continue to be cut off. You can still easily pick out the base of your supercell here. Let me look at ZDR. Of course, when it was producing a strong tornado, it was way more well-defined. Yeah, it's definitely fallen apart, but you could still very easily pick out your core supercell here. That's where your hook echo is. Your hook echo is right in there. And that's your base of the supercell. So if we do get a tornado, it would be somewhere in that rain-wrapped mess, which right now does not seem imminent. So yeah, just make sure that you are continuing to stay weather aware. I do think that this is looking better for areas in front now. So if you are watching from Gardner or near Alexandria, this storm looks like it is beginning its weakening process here. It had a brief opportunity to produce a second tornado, and it might have south of Heinston, but it seems like it's just going to choke itself off and die out here. You could see the outbound winds are right here, and the kind of outflow of this storm continues to push the inflow away. And so that's going to inhibit this from most likely producing another tornado. See you later, Legacy. I'll probably be ending in 5 minutes. I don't think we're going to go any longer. Just very, very brief coverage. We didn't get a PDS tornado warning, but I did want to cover it for... I did want to cover this threat because we had a couple... we had 2 strong tornadoes touch down. I got very distracted by this debris ball right here. Sorry. I was trying to see where it was tracking. Yeah, definitely Saturday, but possibly even tomorrow evening to do a briefing on Saturday's threat. Still an observed tornado warning. They have maintained an observed tag on this. But there's very clearly no tornado ongoing at the moment, at least via radar. But all right, there won't be another urgent coverage tonight, even if there is PDS, because I'm going to head off for the rest of the night. So just make sure you stay tuned to your local watches and warnings. The main area where you need to be keeping an eye on the weather is going to be just really, I mean, this area here. So if you're in Alexandria, you still want to keep an eye on this for the next hour or so. But it definitely appears like it's going to be dying out here. It could still ramp up. I mean, those inflows are still right there. All they have to do is connect a bit more, and we could easily see another tornado. But the longer this thing goes on, the lower chance that is at the moment. So if you do get a warning out there in Alexandria, please seek shelter. Please seek shelter if you get a warning out there in Alexandria. Don't go outside looking for the tornado. It will be extremely rain-wrapped. Very, very, very rain-wrapped if we do see another tornado develop. Still looking good, though. That inflow is weakening, and it's also still being cut off. So hopefully that does indeed continue. But all right, we're going to head off here. I know it was just a quick 30-minute live stream. It was just to cover those 2 tornadoes, and now they are beginning to weaken. And actually, both of them have actually lifted at the moment. So we saw either 2 or 3 tornadoes just in the last 30 minutes here. You can also see that orientation. Look at the orientation of it. See how this velocity signature here? It's more of like the inflow is coming from dead east. So it's moving like this, and the outflow is coming from dead west. And if we go all the way to the current frame, it's looking like the outflow is more of coming like from the south almost, like this. And then the inflow is also coming from the south, but it's trying to wrap around from the north side. So basically that's less favorable. That's the angle of your supercell there. You can see the angle of your supercell completely change. You can see if we go all the way back here, it just easily has that hook echo. Very obvious signature there. And if we go to your current frame, you can kind of try to point that out, but it's not as easy. But all right, we're going to go ahead and head off. Still a confirmed warning, so just seek shelter if you're in that warning. Stay tuned to your local National Weather Service for more watches and warnings. I will be back here for sure Saturday to cover that potential significant outbreak of severe storms and or tornadoes in Louisiana and Mississippi, as well as western Alabama. And possible live stream tomorrow evening to do a briefing on that threat for Saturday. Have a great rest of your night, and